Hello and welcome back to the Everything is Black and White podcast with me, Andrew Musgrove. And
Me, Sam Mulliner. Hello.
hello, you well? You good?
Yes, I'm very good. I have spent all that getting the bin prize money you gave me on thin air, and yeah, we're ready to go again. I've noticed for this upcoming series you've planned out that you've taken away the competitive element of it.
I have. Let's explain to the people what we are doing because we did promise we would be back very, very soon after ending Getting the Bin last week. And here we are with a brand new episode to bring to you every single week. And we hope you enjoy it. It's something a little bit different. It's not going to be about transfers, Eddie Howe in England, or with the week-to-week basis on Newcastle United. It's going to be really based upon your memories and your love for Newcastle United. And it's called You Can Take Three. And basically, it's if you were placed upon a desert island and there was no one about, nothing to do, which Newcastle United memories would you take with you? And on this desert island, somehow there is the ability to watch back Newcastle United matches. I'm not sure how, but there is. And each week we will have a category. So this week it is goals. And the title is, as I've just said there, You Can Take Three. So each week me and Sam will bring three items of that certain category to the table and explain why they would be with us on this island to keep us company. And it's going to be a bit of debate because we've already had a debate about this week's episode and goals. And as we've talked about off air, Sam, goodness me, narrowing it down to three was not easy. So if this week's episode's anything to go by, the next few weeks are going to be filled with debate, discussion, and probably a bit of argument.
No, I don't. Well, I think you've taken the competitive edge away from it, though. So I think it's more storytelling than arguing. But I mean, Just Take Three is a much more snappier title than You Can Only Take Three. I think you've got to go for snappier. You need to take advice. This is why you didn't win Hero of the Year. You need to broaden your horizons.
Okay, just for you, we will change the title to Just Take Three. There's your prize for winning Get in the Bin.
Well done. I mean, listeners and viewers, he was adamant it was not going to be called that before we started, but you put him under pressure. It just shows, as happened many a time in Get in the Bin, just how quickly he folds.
No, I just want to give you something, a reward for being such a fantastic co-host. And if that's going to send you to bed happy, then you can have the title. Just get, what we call it? Just Take Three.
Just take three, mate.
Just take.
Just take three.
There we go. So welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast. Just Take Three.
Free and easy. Cheers.
There we go. So this week it's all about goals. And before we reveal which goals we're taking, how have you chosen your three goals, Sam? Because for many people, we want you guys to get involved in the comments. We want you guys to get involved over social media and over email as well. So do get in touch with us. It will be a mixture of the best goal we've seen, but it will also be perhaps a goal that was absolutely awful, but because it was seen with your dad next to you, that's why you've chosen it. And it might be the moment in the game which counts ahead of the quality. So what has led you to these three choices without giving anything away?
Some personal memories. I found it really hard to narrow this down to three. Um, I found it really, really hard because I've left some. I've chosen some moments from earlier in my life that have just stuck with me for forever. I've chosen a couple of just outstanding goals, but there's also a lot that I've left out, which mean the world to me. So I found it really, really difficult to get it down to three.
I've got on quality over emotion. There are some that didn't quite make it on the list, which would be more kind of down the that was nice because of the person I was with or because of the moment in the game. My third choice probably, which just sneaked in because the third one I've got wasn't a dead cert. It's probably a bit of both quality and then like the moment and the game it was in. But this is the beauty of this because I was explaining this episode to a couple of my colleagues in the office, And again, like everyone had different answers and different reasons for picking those goals. And I'm hoping that when you guys are watching this and listening to this, it'll be exactly the same for you. It might spark a bit of a conversation on the dinner table, in the pub, and hopefully in our comments as well. Would you like to go first, Sam?
With my first one, yeah, sure.
Yeah, your first one, then I will present my first one. So you go with your first one. Which goal are you taking on this desert island?
So my first goal is David Ginola's goal against Ferencvaros in the UEFA Cup in October '96.
Yeah.
The reason why it stuck with me for so long, not because, let's face it, it's one hell of a goal. Corner comes in, and then it eventually falls to Ginola, who, with his right foot, knocks it up over a Ferencvaros defender, and then bang, volley top corner.
You've missed the most important bit of that. It's the control on the knee as well.
Yeah.
That's the
It's technically, it's just everything about it is just wondrous, and we've barely seen anything like it ever since. But I just turned 7 at the time, and I was in hospital. Fun fact, in Stourbridge, which is where Jude Bellingham's from. And it was nothing major. It wasn't anything life threatening or anything like that. But I was in hospital for about a week or so. And back in those days, children, if you're watching or listening, not every hospital bed had a colour screen entertainment system where you could just plug in your headphones to the telly or whatnot. You had one little black and white, maybe, or if you're in a really posh hospital, a colour television per ward, and that would go off because obviously I was at the kids ward at the time. That would go off at 7 o'clock. But me and my mum asked for special dispensation to watch this game on the BBC, which we were allowed to so long as it was quiet, which it was. But yeah, so I was able to watch that game in my hospital bed, and it was a 4-0 win. It was tremendous. We were trailing 3-2 from the first leg because we were awful in the second. We let some sloppy goals in Budapest. But yeah, the home game was so one-sided, and that goal was just out of this world. It really was tremendous. So yeah, that's my first one.
It was an absolute brilliant goal. Probably his best for Newcastle United. Obviously, the one he scored against Manchester United was quite special, but probably his best in a black and white shirt. It was a real electric night. I remember watching that on TV as well. I'm not mistaken. The good old BBC the logo was in 3 little separate squares on the slant, which I always remember. The good old 90s logo. And yeah, just a really special night. And that goal remains one of the best, I think, ever scored at St James's Park. One of the best ever scored at the Gallagher. Absolutely tremendous. Just the way he brings it down and to just be focused in that moment and then to hit the perfect volley, because it's one thing to get the skill right, but then to still manage to hit the volley as well as he does. I mean, right in the corner as well. Absolutely fantastic. And yeah, I'd be all for that being on the desert island with you. Should I reveal my first one?
Please do.
For me, this might be the most underrated Newcastle United goal ever. Because every time people say, "What is your favourite Newcastle United goal?" and I say, "Well, it's this one," and people look at me and say, "What are you on about?" Some people don't even remember it happening, and then I've got to show them the video, and they go, "Okay, I see what you're talking about." So it was 29th of September 2012, Newcastle United versus Reading away. The score was 2-2, and it was Demba Ba who got both goals, and I'm bringing his first one with me on this trip to the island. It's Chick Tiote with a 30, 40-yard pass, maybe just by the halfway line, over the top. And Demba Ba watches it come down over his shoulder and pings it on the volley into the back of the net. And it's just a tremendous pass to begin with by Tiote. Absolutely beautiful assist. But the technique from Demba Ba to watch that come over his shoulder, then adjust his body and hit it the way he does in the back of the net, it's just the knee on the perfect goal for me. Absolutely beautiful. And I think we've had great goal scorers down the years, and other goals tend to get remembered more, maybe because of the name that puts it in the back of the net. But for me, that Demba Ba goal is up there with the very best goals ever scored by a Newcastle United striker, by a Newcastle United player. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, can't argue. It's not one that I'd forgotten anyway. But it was because we were wearing that kind of, was it the dark red kind of away kit?
And again, I think it's an underrated away kit. I've got that
Yeah, it
upstairs.
is.
I love it. I think even the Virgin Money logo on it looks really nice on it. It's just a really nicely made shirt. It's very kind of basic. There's nothing clever about it, but that's kind of what I love. It's one of my favorite away. Is it away shirt
Yeah,
or third strip? I think it was an away one, wasn't it?
I think it was away. Yes,
Yeah.
certainly one of Puma's better efforts when it came to away shirts. Absolutely. Yeah, I was a big fan of that one. I do own it as well. Yeah, Toyota. I mean, given that midfield at the time, you would think if anyone was to pick out a pillar of a pass, it would have been his midfield cohort, Johan Kabay.
Well, he wasn't playing that day. It was
No,
Kabay, and actually, I've just read the report, and Newcastle was slated, disjointed without Kabay. And funny enough, do you remember what happened a couple of days before that game?
was that
Here's
when
a
he went on strike to try and
no. This nothing to do with Johan Kabay. It's got everything to do with Alan Pardew, who was the manager at the time.
a couple of days before then?
It was the 8-year contract day. This
Oh,
game was directly after that contract being signed, and the BBC on the report have a little dig at Pardew by saying, by quoting him from the press conference of that 8-year deal, and he says, my aim is to now win every week. And then they've gone down to the Medeski, struggled against bottom of the table, Reading, and needed Demba Ba to rescue a point for them. So not the best way for Pardew to celebrate getting an 8-year deal. I'm sure he would have wanted it with a win, but he did get a fantastic goal to help him get a point.
he did, and it was a muddling season really because we'd not invested well enough in the summer previous, only bringing in Vernon Anita and Bigirimana. Yeah, there was a lot of games where Demba Ba rescued us up until he eventually left for Chelsea. But yeah, Tiote with would you? I mean, he's obviously known for his tough tackling, laying his body out on the line to get blocks in, and he's much missed, bless him. But you would think, did he mean that kind of pass, or was it just a hopeful punt forward? I don't think he would have imagined when he hit that pass forward, he was saying, "Yeah, come on, Demba, that's on the volley for you."
No, I think he meant it. If you look at his body language and stuff, he picks it out. He had those moments,
He
like
did.
goal against Man City, which was ruled out, and obviously the goal against Arsenal, which I guess might be on your list. It is not on mine. I will spoil it there. But he had those moments of pure quality, which you would never have bet your house on him managing to produce, because, as you say, he was a tough tackling midfielder, a little piranha fish biting at the ankles. But he had that quality every so often, which made you stand up and go, he's more than just a bruiser in the middle. He can play.
Yeah, yeah, he did. He did. He did. They weren't very often, however, but yeah, he absolutely did have those moments. But yeah, the technique from Barr, because 99 times out of 100, that is not a goal. He barely even connects with it. 99 times out of 100. But yes, superb finish from a really underrated player. Um, there's an injury-prone player who didn't have really many injuries when he was with us. Obviously, the big concern was surrounding his knee, wasn't it? And that's why a few clubs chose to leave him alone. But yeah, one of our fantastic signings from the Pardew and Ashley era, I suppose. But
well, that was his 22nd goal in 40 games. A tremendous record really for Demba Ba. And I think everyone was quite sad when he did leave to go to Chelsea. He didn't quite work out there. I don't think he did score the goal though, which put to pay Liverpool's title bid when Gerrard slipped.
we
So
do
he's
not
got,
let it slip.
which is always great when it does pop up on your newsfeed. But for me, that goal against Reading, just based on pure quality alone, is my favourite Newcastle United goal. I think it's a massively underrated goal. I just love, again, when it pops up the news feed, and anyone who doesn't know what I'm talking about, go and have a little search for it on YouTube. It is there. Just watch the way he sees the ball coming over his shoulder. It is absolutely fantastic technique. I can't
Really.
talk it up any more than I have done. I just absolutely love it.
Yeah, I mean, really, really special. I mean, it's probably, you're right. It's underrated, and it's probably not given the plaudits it deserves, not just for Newcastle history, but for Premier League history in general. Maybe because it doesn't go in the top corner or whatever, but technically perfect, and it was just an incredibly special goal and mightily impressive from a very, very impressive player.
Yeah, indeed, and someone who still holds Newcastle United dear to their hearts. And as Sam said there as well, Chick Tiote no longer with us, dearly missed. And it's great that we get to talk about these memories of him as well, because as we said, known for his tough tackling, but he did have those moments of quality that we can talk about. So there's the first two. Let us know in the comments if you would take either of those. Sam, which other goal are you bringing with you to the island?
So the Ginola one was the kind of linchpin that was kind of always going to be in there. The other two were very much up for negotiation. I wanted to put a recent one in because if I was marooned on a desert island, I would want to remember a goal from when the good times have come back, because we'd had it rough for a long time, and the last couple of years under Eddie Howe have been so much fun, and we've scored some absolute belting goals as well. Um, I mean, where do you start? I mean, the one I am going to go for is Fabian Schär versus Paris Saint Germain. Um, but it could have easily have been St Maximin against Wolves, because I was in the away end that day, and that was a lot of fun. That was the first time I would say I'd properly made a tit of myself on the internet. Um, that was a lot of fun. There's Jacob Murphy against Tottenham, Isak from Willock's Pass, again in the same game, like Isak setting up Murphy, Everton. There's so many. I mean, I've missed loads as well. Like a couple of Miggy's strikes were fantastic. I got one against Villa. I adore. Yeah, but I've gone for Schär. I mean, Schär could have had a reel on his own, couldn't he? But I've gone for that one against PSG because of how special the night was. I was in the Lees' end that night, and I was stood when Schär hit it. I was probably level with Fab's shoulder, and I just saw it the moment it left his foot and just curl round and to beat Donnarumma. And it kind of went in slow motion for me as well. Because don't forget as well, although it was like the 90th minute and we were 3-1 up, I was still convinced we were going to draw 3-3 or lose 4-3. Because it was just such a surreal evening, and one that will live with me forever. And that was just, yeah, an incredible night, a memorable game for so many reasons, and a goal that I must have watched a few hundred times, easy, over the since it's happened. So yeah, that's my reasoning behind it. I wanted a recent one, in the Eddie Howe era, and that goal in the Champions League on that night. Um, beating a team that eventually got to the semi-finals, with the world's biggest footballing star in the team. All right, he does nothing for me, but well, I say he does nothing for me. He's all right. I think he's overrated. I don't think he's in the same league. Mbappe, I'm on about. I don't think he's in the same league as Ronaldo and Messi. Um, but yeah, an incredible night, and just everything about that. The atmosphere that night, we would have beaten anyone. Um, it was, if you could bottle that atmosphere up and sell it, then the Saudis would be paying hundreds of millions for that as well. But yeah, that's the one I've gone for in the end.
That was on my list as the third potential pick. And as I said, it's that emotive kind of reason behind it, quality strike. But as we said, that night against PSG is just something special, something that'll stay with you forever. the atmosphere around the ground was just electric. And, make no bones about it, PSG, one of the best sides in Europe with one of the best players in the world. And Mbappe looked like a championship player. I mean, he was just not up for it. And that was down to the fans and down to Newcastle's game plan and the way that everything was being cheered, every tackle, every pass, throw-ins being applauded, everything just came together to make Newcastle United such a force that night. I mean, you had Dan Burn getting a goal, which was tremendous to see. That was kind of the full circle maybe for him. Released as a kid, season ticket holder, and then
And
scoring
then
the Champions
the other
League.
3 goal scorers were all there pre-takeover.
Yeah, Sean Longstaff. Remind me of the other one.
Your man.
Almiron, course. Almiron, yeah. Too busy focusing on Fabian Schär and the Hollywood story of Dan Burn going from Asda to scoring against PSG. Yeah, Fabian Schär goal, absolutely fantastic, and it just kind of rounded the night off really perfectly, didn't it? What a fantastic evening it was.
PSG fans played their part as well. Incredible. Like
Yeah.
I was below them. As I say in the Lees, never stopped all night. Never stopped.
And
And then walking through the town as well. It was interesting.
Well, we bumped into each other, didn't we?
Yeah.
Outside the Shark Bar.
It threatened to kick off, and then you ran off and got scared. But I stayed and
You stayed to defend the city walls.
I stayed to defend the city. But it didn't kick off. It was
the Dortmund fans were worse, to be fair, and I didn't expect that.
I don't get that at all, because like when we went over to Dortmund, there was just no semblance of that whatsoever, and everything was just great, and I fell in love with like German football and that place and whatever. Yeah, it's just bizarre. I know, yeah. But yeah, PSG played their part on the pitch. There's only one player for me that came out of that with any credit for Paris Saint-Germain, and that was Zaire Emery, who looks an absolute wonder kid. I don't know why he didn't get more minutes in the Euros, to be honest, because he could have done a good job in the middle of the park for France. But yeah, Luis Enrique got his formation all wrong. Who plays a 4-2-4? Absolutely cretinous. But yeah, Dembele is the most overrated player in world football. But yeah, as I say, it didn't matter who we played that night, we were going to beat them. Yeah, it was one of the best nights ever.
Indeed, can't argue with that. My second goal is an Alan Shearer strike. 25th of April 2004, Newcastle United 2, Chelsea 1.
I knew you'd put it.
Nabbing his 28th goal of the season. Did you say you knew I would bring this?
Yeah, because this is something we have in common, and you're more vocal about it than I am, but it is our favourite. It's my favourite Alan Shearer goal as well.
It's just fantastic. And for those who haven't guessed what we're talking about so far, it's when the ball is delivered to Shearer, what are we saying, 30 yards out maybe?
Yeah.
And he's got Desai up his back, and then the defender, French legend, Premier League legend, one of the best defenders the Premier League's ever seen, makes the mistake of stepping off Alan Shearer. And Shearer didn't need any invitation. He turned and absolutely belted the ball into the back of the net. The way the ball moves, the way it ripples the net, now he takes the net off. Absolutely fantastic. He scored some great goals, and I'm sure you guys watching and listening will probably have the Everton one on, others will have the Aston Villa one on. But for me, this was just Alan Shearer in a strike. Strong, backside out, shoulders out, you're not getting in front of us. And soon as that defender gives him an inch, they're getting punished for it. The power behind the goal, absolutely fantastic. It is my favourite Alan Shearer goal. And people always say, you don't know what you're talking about. The Everton goal is better. But the man himself said he would not argue with me when the anniversary came around, and it would have been 20 years back in April. And I said, hey, the best goal he's ever scored, the only man who could tell me otherwise would be Alan Shearer. And he said he would not argue with me because he knows in his heart of hearts, I know he's done a few polls where he puts everything on top, but he knows this Big Al, this Chelsea one, is by far the best one he scored.
So you got a reply to him on Twitter, did you?
I did. I did.
Did it make your heart flutter?
I mean, we you know, we've spoken before, but I was glad he responded to that because, like I
Does
say,
he follow you on Twitter?
he does. He does.
Okay.
I got more excited though when you followed me, Sam.
Yeah, he follows me as well. Just saying, I thought he didn't follow you, so it's a bit annoying, really. Yeah, I love that goal as well. Shola got the other goal in that game, didn't he?
I can't remember actually. I did go to have a look, but then I just
Let
got
me just
lost
dive into
on
my
the.
mind palace. I don't. Let me just dive into my mind palace. Was it Shola at the Leeds end in the first half?
I got.
Or was
Let
it
me just double
half?
check. I did go to search it, but I just got lost down watching the goal on repeat. So I didn't actually find out who scored the second goal. I've got it here. Let me just double check. Ranieri looking very, very unhappy. Yeah, it was Amiobi got the equaliser
Yeah,
when he
he
held
went
off
on.
Marcel Desailly to volley in before the
Yes.
break. I actually think, from my memory, it's quite a good strike from Sholo as well.
Yeah, it was really good. It was. It was cracking goal. We have some all right days at home against Chelsea. We've had the odd blip, obviously, of course, when they've been doing very well. But yeah, Chelsea at home's normally pretty good. But yeah, no, I love that goal as well. I remember watching it in my council flat back in the day because it was a Super Sunday game. Yeah, I remember it well because I shouted a lot when it went in. Yeah, fantastic memories. That team as well, just yeah, great. Just the best to ever wear that number 9 shirt, isn't he? So yeah,
Where does that goal rank? Alan Shearer's goal. Where does it rank for you in terms of the his best?
yeah. No, I think it is his best. I do like the Aston Villa one, and I do like the Everton one as well because obviously that's of course. But yeah, no, this one for me. I think it's to get that curl. I think it wasn't Cudicini in goal that day, if I remember rightly, and they hadn't signed Czech yet. I think it was Ambrosini.
It was Marco, good old Marco.
So yeah, he had no chance. Yeah, just I remember the commentary, the co-coms from Ray Wilkins as well, the late great, and yeah, Marcel's as strong as an ox. Shearer just twizzled him like he wasn't even there. It was fantastic.
Unbelievable, absolutely brilliant goal. And it's interesting you mentioned there the games against Chelsea where Newcastle have had success. And another one on my list, which I was humming and hawing about, was the goal against Chelsea that Isaac Hayden scored right at the death. St. Maximin with the ball in the box and Hayden headed it home.
That
Now, look,
game was crap as well, wasn't it?
crap game, not the best of
Awful.
goals, but just the emotion and elation when the
Yeah.
ball hit the back of the net was something really, really special. And it's one of those moments which will, again, stay with me for a long time. I don't know what it was. It just kind of, look, everyone loves the last minute goal, but there was just something about that. I think the game it had been awful, but I remember being a little bit tasty and wanting to
Yeah.
beat Chelsea. And I think Lampard was in charge at the time, and it was
Yeah.
superb ball in the box from St. Maximin, and then Hayden to rise. Or leaped like a salmon to put it in the back of the net. And obviously St. James's Park just absolutely erupts.
We had a clip go viral that night of NFTV. Lee and a few of us were in Strawberry Corner, so Lee had a clip go viral on Twitter about it with the celebrations because it was absolute carnage, and yeah, there was limbs everywhere, stewards everywhere, just great scenes. I was working that night.
Was that the celebration where Matt Ritchie hammers a corner flag? I don't think it's the corner flag that went into the gentleman's nether regions.
Yeah, it was.
It was. Was that
Yeah.
that was that nice?
Yeah, it was that night. Yeah.
Oh well, scrap that. This one's going on the list just for that celebration alone. Then.
Okay, so that's going to be your third one.
No, I have got another, but because I'd be good, I bet the person who provides the the clips or the tapes when we're stuck on this desert island, just cuts it off just as it hits the back of the net. So we wouldn't get to see the celebrations, annoyingly,
Yeah,
the way it would work.
that's true.
But what a celebration. Good old Matt Ritchie, yeah. But there, yeah. So the second one that I've got is that goal against Chelsea by Alan Shearer. 28 goals. Well, that was his 28th in all competitions that season. Brilliant. And thankfully, with Alexander Isak at Newcastle United, we are starting to see those sort of numbers again, and long may that continue. What's your third one then?
I really, really struggled. I'll explain my thought process because there's some really difficult goals to choose from here from a personal standpoint, and just because they're really good goals. So that one you were just talking about, we were just talking about Shearer versus Chelsea did enter my calculations. I mentioned before about Maxi against Wolves. Bellamy versus Feyenoord, the last minute winner there. That entered my calculations just for the sheer drama of it. Kabay against Man United, the free kick. That was another one. There was loads. Oh, Almiron against Wolves because it was the winning goal of my son's first game, and his favourite player at the time was Almiron. He's now moved on to Anthony Gordon, as fickle as the youth of today. I don't blame him though. Yes, there was Miggy's winner against Wolves in the fourth place finish season. But in the end, there was a couple more Shearer goals as well. The one where he broke the record against Portsmouth. But in the end, I went for Philip Albert against Man United.
Oh, hello.
In the 5-0, just because I remember walking into school the day after. I think it was the day after. What was that? Remind me. Was it Super Sunday or a Monday night game?
I'm going to say it was a Monday night game. I'm not entirely sure, but it was dark, wasn't it? So, I mean, it was October, but how quick? I suppose. Yeah, I think it might have been a Monday night game. I could be wrong. I don't know, to be
Either
truthful.
way, when I found out the result, because I was only a kid at the time, and I think I was still in infant school or whatever. At that point, yeah, and there was a lot of Man United fans in my class, my friends. I had a lot of Man United fans that because obviously I didn't go to school in Manchester, so and I don't live anywhere near Manchester, so of course there was a lot of Man United fans there in rural Shropshire. So although I will make this point, there's a lot of Man City fans in today's youth as well now.
There is too many.
Just like again, like when I take my kids to school and I see a load of Man City bags, I'm like, behave yourself. You couldn't tell me who Ali Benavia was. Don't even start. Georgie King-Clancy. Yeah. But yeah, that guy, I was obviously after the Charity Shield and the way we'd got pipped to the title the previous season, and the way we dismantled them that day, and 5-0 was, if anything, favourable to them. It could have been 6 or 7. I remember David Batty missed a great chance. I think Les missed another chance as well. It could have been really, really bad for Man United, but that Albert goal, which, the lob over, the unbeatable Peter Schmeichel.
It's just the way he looks up in the air as it goes over. That makes it. Because I think with some goals, and I kind of think, I don't know, there's something about that Ginola one that you've picked as well. Because I always remember when the goal the highlights finish, it freezes. And like the way the goalkeeper's positioned.
It makes a lot of difference when the goal.
And there's a Peter Beardsley one against, I think it's against Middlesbrough, and Walsh is in goal, and it's a penalty, but again, it's the way the freeze framed in it, and with that one that you just mentioned, the Philip Albert one, the way the keeper reacts, the way Schmeichel looks up, and I was thinking about this actually, funny enough, a few weeks ago. I don't know why, but I was just thinking about his reaction. Like you just think he's just looked up and gone, Oh, goodness me. And yeah, just the way he looks up at the heavens thinking, please, please end this now. It's just, it helps make that goal even more special.
Yeah, and Albert obviously had it in his locker, as does. I mean, I've got 2 goals with centre halves for crying out loud. But yeah, the Albert obviously had that in his locker. There was one the previous season he scored against Man City whilst we're on that Main Road that was highly impressive as well. Another one that came into my calculations was Asprilla's third against Barcelona, just because Keith Gillespie, probably one of the greatest individual performances I've ever seen in a Newcastle shirt that night by Keith Gillespie. The cross on it was, oh my God, unbelievable. So yeah, there was that as well. I mean, a few of the goals from the 5-1. I was there that day against Sunderland. That was there, but yeah, I just don't think as a whole, I don't think you could leave that one out. Really, for me, it was
Okay.
yeah, unbelievable.
Well, I'll run through my nearly list, and I'll be honest. I know at the start of the show I said I had my third, but it's changed in my head, and it's changed
Yeah,
based on these 37 minutes to 3 different ones. I'm glad you've said Fabian Schär against PSG because I'm going to rule that one out. That is on my nearly list, though. I've mentioned Hayden versus Chelsea. Jose Enrique against Nottingham Forest
mm.
is a very, very special goal for me because it was the night Newcastle United we knew we were going back to the Premier League. Enrico's first goal. It was
It
actually
wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't officially, was it? The night when we were going back to the Premier League.
well, it
But
was
obviously, Forest were third at the time, and it was a big, big, big
yeah.
game.
But we knew really it was
Yeah,
going to take some sort of miracle for them to get back. Really good goal from Enrique. And the celebration again is just an absolute release because, as you say, okay, officially it wasn't confirmed, but unofficially we were heading back to the Premier League. And his shirt comes off. There's a big pylon, and the whole crowd just were like, oh, "Thank goodness!" Because I think it was a late goal as well, and obviously, like I say, it was against Forest, so to beat them left them in a really position that they were never going to get or chase Newcastle down. But the way it ended with Enrique's kind of pushed it to the back of the queue there. I've got Bruno versus Leicester, the counter-attack goal.
oh my God, I was front row of the Gallagher that day as well. That happened right in front of me. You can see, if you look very closely, you can see me throw my arms up. I was next to Carl from our channel. I was next to his brother Chris that day. Oh my God, when that goal went in, he went to stand on the advertising hoardings because obviously they're right in front of us, and he went to slipped and cut all the back of his leg open. It's such it. But he didn't even realise at the time because of the sheer elation and emotion of it. Oh my God, yeah, that goal.
Absolutely fantastic, sunshine and everything.
Yeah,
I've also
great weekend.
got Trippier versus Man City, the free kick,
Yeah,
because that was such a special afternoon. Newcastle United should have won that game, and the celebrations when that went in were absolutely fantastic. Everyone sliding towards the kind of the middle of the east stand, and it was just a really quality free kick. I was there with my dad and celebrating that one was special. And now we're down to the final two. Only we mentioned actually for Iose Perez's winner against Everton after good old Jordan Pickford, wound everyone up at half time. So that honorary mention for that. The two that I've got written down on the list are. So the first one is Miguel Almiron's goal against Crystal Palace. Not the really good goal, but his first ever goal for Newcastle United, which actually is quite a good finish in itself. Cross from the right, knocked down by Andy Carroll. The ball's kind of gone behind him, or was going behind him, and he's had to adjust his body and catch it with the left foot volley in the back of the net. Just the relief. Finally getting that goal. I think it was 26, 28 games, something like that. A run of 26 games without a goal. And he just needed it. And again, the atmosphere, the reaction to it, the celebrations. But it was a good finish in itself, actually. A really good finish, given, like I said, the ball was heading behind him. But the one I'm going to go for is another Alan Shearer one. And it's against Tottenham Hotspur, 11th of April 1999, FA Cup semi-final, and it's a goal in extra time, which
Yeah.
sends Newcastle United to Wembley. You'll remember the commentary from our good old pal Clive, and the line is, "That's how we dreamt it last night." To the popular end of Old Trafford as well. The ground was absolutely shaking. It's a fantastic strike. I think Silvio Marriage, is it, to the edge of the box, and Shearer just
I
outside of
liked
his foot.
Silvio Maric. I liked Silvio Maric. I thought he was quite good, but yeah, great goal, great goal. And yeah, obviously sending us to an FA Cup final. Not a bad way to do it, is it?
Not at all. I mean, yeah, and he was obviously a goal scorer who scored great goals. But again, that one is up there with one of his best. Just the sheer power and the way it kind of curls off to the corner as well. And if one man was going to send you to the final, it was going to be Alan Shearer, wasn't it?
Always. Yeah, yeah, massive. It's just makes you cast your mind back now as well, doesn't it? And now all I'm thinking of is different goals I could have had. I don't know why David Batty versus Wimbledon has just come into my head. But yeah, no, it was a tense affair, wasn't it? For the main, but yeah, what a goal to seal a win to take us to Wembley. Um,
I think more than anything, that one gets on though, and so I'm hoping that the desert island gods who provide us with the footage would allow it to have Clive's commentary, because if Clive's
oh yeah,
commentary wasn't on it, then it might not have been my third pick, because Clive's commentary makes that totally
yeah,
without a shadow of a doubt.
yeah. You're right. I would argue the same for Martin Tyler with the Albert goal.
I know
Uh,
that word by word. Rob Lee with the ball, and then up we go. And now they are looking for number 5, and then absolutely glorious. And Andy
yeah,
Gray chipping in with the icing on top of the cake. Tremendous, absolutely tremendous. So yeah, hopefully screw it. Where this is our island, so they are providing the footage with the commentary on and the celebrations as well. Because if we're going to be stuck on an island, we can have some comfort at least.
yeah, 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 100%, 100%. Yeah,
So
there's going to be, my day will be spent now thinking of goals that I could and should have put in my top three. But that's what makes it so good. It's just so many to choose from, and we've been
and so many
fortunate.
reasons why as well, which is the beauty of it. I mean, you could go even further back. Some Peter Beardsley ones were
Oh yeah,
fantastic. Les Ferdinand against Coventry when he's run onto a long ball and popped it home. Absolutely tremendous, that one. You've got Supermax against Burnley with Terry
yeah,
Hibbert. Tremendous pass, for me, the best
yeah,
pass ever. There's so many that you could choose from, and this is the beauty of this series as well. When the next categories that are coming up, we will have passes, we will have games, we will have captains and strikers, and cup games and what have you. We'll probably never agree on the 6 that end up going with us on the island, and those listening and watching as well. It's a debate for the ages that will just rage on and on and on, and that is the beauty of it. So I'm looking forward to seeing where this series goes. We'll just recap then, Sam, on the 6 that we've picked. Obviously, we'll be on separate islands. So I've gone for
good.
Demabar versus Reading. I've gone for Alan Shearer versus Chelsea when he turns Desai. Demabar is the one where Teoti long ball and hits it on the volley. And I've gone for Shearer against Tottenham Hotspur in the FA Cup semi-final at Old Trafford when he absolutely smacks one from the edge of the box. Just remind us of your 3.
David Ginola versus Ferenc Varos, Philippe Albert against Manchester United, and Fabian Schär versus Paris Saint-Germain. I cannot believe I haven't got an Alan Shearer one in there.
I know, I'm surprised at that. He's going to unfollow you now.
No, I don't, no, please don't. I do sometimes log on to Twitter just to check he still does, because it's still so surreal. But yeah, no, it's just you could. I mean, I'd struggle to narrow it down. Were we doing 10? So yeah, it's to get it down to 3 was really really tough, and I'll probably change my mind over the weeks, and but that's what I've gone for.
There you go. Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed it. we will bring you next week's show on a certain category. We haven't decided it yet. We'll let you know what it is. Do get involved in the comments. Which goals would you take with you on an island if you were stuck on there and you kind of just had those to watch on repeat? So which 3 Newcastle United goals would you take? And of
Nobby
course,
Solano as well. I've just remembered,
against Arsenal.
Oh,
There's just so many.
Just
So many. And I can't wait to see the comments.
Lauren Robert. How have we not even mentioned Lauren Robert?
The 2 against Tottenham, 1 against Fulham when he cartwheels again.
Yeah. Santiago Munez.
Stop beating yourself up about this because we could go all day. Let the people have their say. We've had ours. They're locked in now, Sam. They're locked in.
What about Santiago Munez's goal against Liverpool to seal top 4? And, he won the heart of Anna Friel in the end.
He did. Tremendous. Maybe we'll have a category as we get towards the end of the series, football movies, and you can bring goal along with you. But leave that until that category rises its rather ugly head. Thank you, Sam, as always, for your input in today's show.
Did you tell me Goal was a film? I thought it was a documentary.
Thank you, Sam, as always, for popping on to the podcast. Thank you to you guys watching and listening. Sam's going to go off now and watch Goal for the rest of the afternoon. Do get involved in the comments. We always love hearing from you. And head over to chroniclelive.co.uk for all the latest Newcastle United news. And for myself and Sam, we'll see you guys next week.